Book of Proverbs 120. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She raises her voice in the markets. Solomon now introduces one of the most powerful images in the opening chapters of Proverbs. Wisdom is crying out in public. She isn't hidden. She isn't locked away in some secret place available only to scholars or religious elites. She's in the streets, public square, and she's raising her voice. Solomon personifies wisdom as a woman who is actively calling people to listen. Now, the word wisdom carries the meaning of wisdom, skill, intelligence, prudence, and sound judgment. It also communicates the fullness or manifold nature of wisdom. And biblical wisdom is more than just simply having information. I mean, you can have knowledge and still make foolish decisions. Wisdom is knowing what is true and having the skill and understanding to live according to that truth. Now, notice where wisdom is speaking. She's in the streets, markets, and public square. Now, these were places where people gathered, conducted businesses, interacted with one another, made decisions, and lived their everyday lives. So Solomon is showing us something very important. God's wisdom intersects with everyday life. Wisdom isn't confined to a classroom. She isn't restricted to a private gathering. She calls out where people actually live, work, interact, and make decisions. And notice the contrast with men. Solomon described earlier in this chapter. They were secretly plotting, they lie in wait, they set traps. But wisdom operates differently. Sin operates in concealment. Wisdom calls openly. Sin says, come with me. Wisdom says, listen to me. Solomon uses personification, a literary device in which an abstract idea is presented as though it were a person. But he did this to keep the teaching simple, relatable, and understandable. Wisdom is therefore described as a woman who speaks, cries out, raises her voice, and later calls people to account. He is giving wisdom in human voice so that way we can visualize the decision in front of us. Wisdom is calling. She's in the middle of everyday life. The message is clear. God's wisdom is not presented as something hidden or inaccessible. It openly declares, it's available, it is calling. But here's the question, will we listen? Because the problem isn't necessarily that wisdom has no voice. The problem is whether people are willing to hear the voice that is already calling. Proverbs 120 is therefore more than a statement that wisdom exists. It's an invitation and a warning. Wisdom is calling you to pay attention, and me. She is calling humanity to hear, understand, receive, correct, and choose a path of truth rather than the path of folly. God's wisdom is not silent. The question is, will we listen? Christ came in the flesh, he died for our sins, and he was raised to life on the third day, and he's coming back.